Hello, everybody. Are we supposed to say what date it is? It's January 25th, 2021, and this is the Leads meeting. Okay. Okay, so housekeeping items. The sprint boards are really blocked up still. So if you guys can go in at some point, like block an hour for your team if they need to do it. Just have them go in, make sure they comment and close it, they update the milestone, work on it, or move it to block, just so we can actually start sprint planning again right now. If not, I'm going to start going in there next week and just closing things down or backlogging them that look like nobody's been worked on them for a while. So I don't want to, mess with anybody's, as Danielle says, cheese. Then let's see, budget. Can you guys go in and make red line anything in that budget that won't happen so we can use up the rest of that money in the next 5 days? The content team, I think that's the one, yours is the one that I really don't know about, so that would be helpful. I'm doing CMO Shadow next week, so I'll be out. And then they may push the tier updates a day or two instead of launching them tomorrow. I gave them a 3 p.m. Pacific time cutoff today to make that decision because Brandon stops working at 5. So hopefully that'll push them into saying what's going to happen. And that's all I have for these. Michael, for working session on iterating how they're using boards. Do you want to put that in the discussion section?
Sure.
And then let's read through the top 1 to 2 goals for a minute. Let's see. Is everybody good to move on to discussion topics? Okay.
Yep.
Sorry, Rebecca, go ahead.
Sorry, I was saying yes.
Okay. Okay, so Michael, I went and I made as a test a number of, we'll see how this works, a number of production issues for the cross-functional work and assign them out on the Fridays to hold the spots. So it looks pretty good so far. And this will make sure that, anything that I've looked at the board for what exists, what we've promised people, and everything seems to be timed out in there. So as long as there's not anything crazy, it should be good. And then the only thing out of there will be if something, a squirrel comes in for stuff. But luckily what I wanted to do was block that time so we could say, look, this is already taken up. How important is this? And all these things have to shift. So it'll be really simple. Ideally, I don't want to have to make those production issues every single time to block that time out, but I think this is a good start for that, that week. So we'll see how it goes. For the iterating and using boards, just add me to that meeting. That way I can be like, hey, if you do this, it'll break everything, so that we don't have to, spend a bunch of time going back, and then I can give them any tips that I know.
Yeah, we can add you. I think I'm happy to do that. I would just request that you come in with an open mind. Not because anything's broken. There's just, I think what is actually the opportunity that my team is trying to solve isn't the work that you've got organized. It's all the other work that we're doing. I don't think they're meshing in a super useful way. so yeah, I don't like the working session. There will be no like actual, like we're not going to change anything in that meeting. It would just be like, here's what why boards aren't working for things like CMS and design system, and here's why they are working for, you know, all the work that you just described. How can we kind of align this a little bit more? So yeah, it's not going to be a catastrophic like blow it up change. I think they just want to iterate and make boards actually more useful.
No, yeah, I just want to make sure that, like, you know, one of the bigger things that's an overview is that I don't know if you have context for is we ended up with all the other teams making like the rest of marketing aligning the way the boards were, so that in that other quarter. So one thing may seem like it's not going to do anything, but really it like down the line messes all the other boards up. So that's why I can be there and be like, hey, this label being taken off will have a catastrophic event. So is there another way that we could do that?
Yeah. I don't think it's that granular, but yeah, I love having you in meetings anyway. So I'm not pushing against it. I just want to encourage like an open mind, I guess.
Yes. For the commit landing page, I'll have to look and commit is code base and our plan for which next section is CMS. Okay, so the way that I just quickly for the commit stuff, because commit is a lot of work. The first round, I blocked a bunch of time for Brandon to do and to look at one. I did like he can look at his engineering work and the ideas that he had for last time. So I gave that to him on one Friday sprint. Like you could just literally review the issue that you made last time. And then I gave him 2 engineering days for the launch of it, so that if there's something that we can do, I'll spend a little bit more time thinking through that. The reason I'm asking is because things update, like they have to add sponsors and we'll say we'll only do it on Fridays, and like, no, we need to add the sponsor the day after it comes in. Mm-hmm. And so somebody on your team ends up being like a point person that's so close to it. So it would be great if there's anything that they can self-serve on.
Yeah, I love that. I think let's let Brandon do that. And then the next session, I would say the better group would probably be Lauren and Tina to be the ones that are actually going to figure out how to get it into like an MVC one for the CMS. But I love it. It's anything we can do to take like just, you know, keyboard pushing work off of our plate and enable other people. You know, I'll always be in support of that. So that
Cool.
sounds great.
And just so you have background, the commit time frame for how much time it is they will start first. They wanted to launch February 5th, and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. But I think they know that they need to move it, but I think we're going to push for probably like March 1st being the launch. But the actual commit event is like August 10th.
Yeah.
And then after that, they still have to do something. So that's like that's an obligation of like March through August, which is why even if it takes a little bit more time to do things for self-serve, it's worth it because they have so many updates and it goes over such a long span of time.
Uh-huh.
I would just like to say too, sorry to bop in on this, but as you're building out, I think if we can look at ways to be able to plug and chug video and change things out and self-serve, I'll be doing that on back end by using Vimeo and that sort of thing. But there's always like a lot of video things that come at the last minute, and then it's like we need this video up, and then that ends up falling on you all's plate, and then we're trying to produce it and get it fixed. And so I think that would just be good. Any ways that we can like, okay, here's the baseline, here's what you have, and then you can refresh and do what you need to do, or put in the new URL, or do blah 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 blah. I think that would be good, and also, you know, just even for tracking videos and that sort of thing. But
yeah, I think if I'm fully in support, so I hope no one's feeling like I'm saying no against any of this. My thinking is we should abstract what we're talking about to say, let's make let's try and make it so that events can be in the CMS, and let's set commit as our goal to have the full featured events template for the CMS. So if we're all cool with that, that's how I kind of frame things, because I don't want to make just a CMS for commit and then another one for another one. It's like, here's the template for events. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then when do things like ramp, like when are the ramped up times? Like I'm going to imagine it's probably like when it gets kicked off, there's a whole bunch of backlog work. So it's probably pretty busy. And then Erica, like you're describing, and Becky with the videos that keep popping up and the sponsors, is that like closer to the August date? Is there a specific cadence to them?
It kind of, I mean, at least for video, I can say that it, you know, we kind of start with an idea of what we're going to do, and then it just grows, right? And it explodes, and then there's more, and then we need this, and then we need to change that. And so, yeah, I think your approach is great. And I think what you're doing is right. I just want to make sure that you have that in mind as, you know, you're building this out, because it's an element that changes. So.
Cool.
Michael, I just added under there, this is a copy doc, but I went through with Emily and broke out like the stages that they have for the event. So it's like stage 1 and the things that happen. Stage 2, landing page. I think this actually, I need to adjust this because I realized that she.
Oh, this is super helpful. Great.
Okay, but yeah, so this is kind of like the way, this is the concept, and this is based on last year for what they could do. Anything that is like, you know, the last commit was as basic as could possibly be. So anything that's better that your team wants to suggest is fine, or that they do, but this is pretty much how it runs through.
Cool. Awesome.
And then let's see, Bree, do you want to verbalize yours on here? Or are you good?
I mean, I was just curious about Ash, but I will go and make an issue. You have her booked for the next few weeks. Can I just assume that by March she might have space? You think
she'll have space through earlier than that. I just want to make sure that I know how much time, and this would be based on like what you would think it would be. If you could give me an estimate, because then what I'll do is I'll break out the issue per thing and be like this week, this week, this week, this week, so that it holds the time in the spring.
She's a fast writer. I mean, it's like all dependent on how quick she can write. So.
Yeah, she's a fast writer.
Okay, thanks.
I have so many of these on here. I will be putting in cross-functional OKRs, working through there. And I know Michael already, for implementing the brand messaging, but the content team, if you guys want to think about that, this is the stuff that New Kind is working on. That's like the high level brand messaging. I'll share what let me share what they've done so far on here so that you have an idea. They're just like telling the brand story, and you guys can start thinking about how you want to put it in things.
While
I have a question.
Sorry, Bree, go ahead.
Oh no, it's fine.
I was just gonna say, all of if anyone has reviewed or is planning to review the OKRs that my team came up with and we put in as candidates, like we're viewing our point of view, just so it's, you know, vocalized, is we want every one of our OKRs to be cross-functional. Like I think this last quarter for my team, like we had to have these kind of like silo ones just because we needed to build the CMS and we needed to build the design system. But now, like if and when you're looking at any of our OKRs and it's like, for example, like build out the design system, like, and Erica and I are talking about like making events template. Like to me, that's the same thing. It's like, oh, amazing. My team can build the CMS and parts of our design system and deliver against Erica's OKR. So I just wanted to let everyone know, like I'm looking for everything we're doing to be related to something someone on this call is doing. So if you see something or have an idea of like, oh, this could really use my team, just hit me up because I'd love to like collaborate to figure out how to lock those down.
Cool. Thank you, Michael. That also kind of goes into my second one, which was I was looking at them, and I know, Rebecca, you have a bunch of cross-functional OKRs listed. So it'd probably be a good idea for us to be like, cool, I think this is the two separations is like what we can do is we can say like, here's all the cross-functional OKRs that fit our goals and here's the ones that don't. And then me and Michael are having like a working session on prioritizing the asks we have. And we can probably do that the same thing with you guys on the global content team. And then we can come back and say, cool, these are OKRs for what we can support that helps our goals, which is way more, right? Like we want to focus on that. And then the other things we can allot a little bit of time for the things that don't necessarily fit our goals, but we should help because we're the only team that can actually help them on those things. Let's see. Bree, do you have?
I had a question about so I have an issue open and Niall's kind of adding his input in there, but he suggested that some of the keyword topics that I've asked him to look into according to the go-to-market plans are different than the brand messaging from the new kind. So is there an alignment that's happening between the go-to-market planning that's within like the campaigns and all of like the messaging and the new kind, or it's totally two separate strategies?
I think it's probably right now it's probably very separated.
Yeah. So that's kind of in terms of trying to provide a content strategy for my team, I'm trying to focus them in on their specific topics. But one side sends version control and the other side is saying get up. So it's like, I would like to clarify like whose strategy are we meant to incorporate in our strategy first?
So this is one of the things that I think like, let's talk about it in more detail after this, because it's something that needs to happen for new kind. There's no decisions made on what's actually happening and the words that are chosen, which is why it's kind of like, can't say it. I can give you this, but don't go run down and change it because it may not pan out. So they're supposed to deliver with Todd making final decisions February 4th. So that's when we'll have the answer. And I've told them the rollout will be slow. Like it's going to be like 6 months before things start to like really kick in. And then we're going to have like a check-in where we do more than that. So I have a rollout plan. When it comes to stuff for the campaigns, they plan so far ahead sometimes with, just from my experience, that like by the time it leads up to when it's going to happen, a lot of things have changed at GitLab.
Right. But as of right now, there's like nothing. So it's like, there's no plan for Q1, you know, like it's like it rolls out for a year. So it makes sense by Q3. You're like, meh, it doesn't make sense. But for right now, it's like, there's no plan set in stone. I find it so weird that there are two separate sort of like messaging systems working, not.
Well, so the thing is that the new kind stuff, if you can flag the words in there that are really separate, that would be helpful, because new kind is supposed to be brand messaging at a high level, not like the deeper product messaging. So, and I think that's where we still are we don't do a good job, is like, even if without new kind, we use different words for things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, okay. I can tag you in that issue that I opened. It's basically part of our OKR for Q1 is like incorporating new content strategies, but also trying to align those content strategies with the go-to-market plan. But then it's kind of separate from the brand messaging.
Yeah, tag me in it and then let's follow up on it.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's fine. And then the tier name thing, they went back to using premium. So it's free, premium, and ultimate.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay. So what?
Yeah. So
so if your GitLab Premium is gonna, so if there's a company, I'm trying to publish a case study today, and I was like, I don't know if I should just wait until tomorrow to publish it if it's going to be called GitLab Standard as opposed to GitLab Premium.
Yeah, I would wait. I would wait until they change if there's nothing like specific, I don't see what the point of you publishing a case study that's going to have a tier name on it. So
is it GitLab Standards, not GitLab's? It's still going to be called Premium though.
It's gonna be premium. So silver goes away. It's premium. It's free, premium, and ultimate.
Okay. It's very confusing.
Yes, they've changed their mind about 20 times.
Yeah.
It seemed too good to be true when I thought this was finally actually happening tomorrow, and can't believe it's been pushed back again.
What's the date?
Well, they have to decide by 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. That's what the decision is for at 3 o'clock today?
They'll make a decision at 3 o'clock today if they're actually going to do it tomorrow or if it's going to slip a day or two.
They should let it slip a day or two and see what happens with the whole GitHub thing. Just saying.
I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm just going to ship this and then they're going to have to update. I'm just kidding.
All right, so good for me. Then I don't have to publish a case study today.
Yeah, yeah. I would use that as a dependency because otherwise, also you might accidentally create a leak.
I know, that's why I was like, I don't want to publish something that might be the wrong, like giving away a name that's not yet a name.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then Michael, I don't need anything on this. I just wanted to know the exact amount because I couldn't remember if it was 24 or 25. So thank you for that. Does anybody else have anything else? Cool. Okay. Bye.
Thanks, y'all. See you.
Later, bye.